Demolition delays. Victoriaville was scheduled to be torn down this year, but now it won't happen until 2025. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. That means the reconstruction in the Victoriaville area won't happen until at least 2026.
Officials confirmed the demolition, which was supposed to happen this summer, won't begin until January. Vasilios Baloos is following the story and joins us in studio. Vasilios, what caused this significant delay?
Ryan, city crews found that certain walls of the structure were built differently than they expected and will actually be more challenging to bring down. It means the tender for the demolition now won't go out until October. The hope is that council can approve it before the new year. Another delay on the $17.5 million project to revitalize Thunder Bay's South Core. City officials confirmed Monday that the demolition on Victoriaville has been pushed off until January of 2025. It was supposed to begin this summer, but issues within the structure's walls came as a surprise. Those issues included the fact that some exterior barriers were built as interior walls, meaning additional work is needed to bring them down. This issue has complicated the demolition, which now won't go out for tender until the fall and is expected to be approved by council in December. The demolition delay also means the final phase of the project, the reconstruction that was supposed to begin in the second quarter of next year, won't happen until 2026. The project has been praised at City Hall. It will include a stage, public art spaces, fountains, and come with the potential to encourage more development on the south side. Officials say the issues won't affect the price tag. Vasilios Baloos, TBT News.
The LCBO strike continues, and that means local customers are relying on other stores to find their alcohol.
That includes rural LCBO convenience outlets, which experienced a busy weekend due to the labor dispute. Lee Noonan has the story.
The liquor shelves are looking pretty bare at Wildwood Variety following the first weekend of a historic LCBO strike. Wildwood is one of about a dozen LCBO convenience outlets on the outskirts of the city. Owner Jenna Curtis says sales were double what she'd expect to see over a normal summer weekend.
This weekend's been a little bit crazy, as you can see behind me. We're pretty empty, but welcome to an LCBO strike.
Curtis's stocks of wine and some liqueurs are still pretty good, but beer and coolers were flying off the shelves, and spirits like vodka and gin were hit hard. Still, she wants to reassure shoppers there's more coming. They've doubled their order for this week.
Everyone's kind of going into panic mode that they need to stock up. We're trying to tell everybody and express to everybody we are still getting our deliveries. We're getting deliveries on Wednesdays. Every week now we might not get as much selection. However, the LCBO is guaranteeing that we will be getting our basic selections.
The rural convenience outlets aren't the only places that alcoholic beverages are still for sale. The province has now published a map of all the alcohol retailers still operating across the province, and the LCBO says their home delivery service is still up and running. With so many alternatives available, local union mobilizer Mo Marcinet says they do have some concern the strike won't create the public pressure they need.
You got to support us, don't go shopping at convenience outlets. And the thing is, we don't want to target small business either. That's not what this is about. But at the same time, if others are going to exploit our misfortune, we're not going to let that stand either. So people need to support us because it's good for everyone.
The picketers were out all weekend in front of the Thunder Center LCBO, and they're now expanding to at least one other location in the city. Marcinet suggests to anyone who wants to support the strike that they don't buy alcohol at all, with the possible exception of buying direct from local breweries.
While I support their cause, I do understand it. I'm also, this is my business, right? So this is my moneymaker. This is my livelihood. This is what puts plates on my children's tables as well.
Lee Noonan, TBT News.
Nearby LCBO outlet stores aren't the only businesses noticing a spike in sales because of the strike. The Dutyfree shop at Ryden's, just across the border in Minnesota, is also feeling the effects. Ryden's co-owner Lori Boomer says ever since the LCBO stores in Thunder Bay closed on Friday morning, they've been very busy, with customers from Canada coming to stock up on bottles of liquor and other items. She says they were forewarned about the work stoppage from their suppliers and their Canadian customers, so they made sure to order extra supplies over the past week or more. Boomer says although they're not able to extend the hours at the duty-free or hire more staff, she feels they're well prepared for the influx of customers.
We expect it to be pretty busy, probably busier than normal. We kind of had an inkling. We heard a few things, and so we were able to order more stock, which is good because for the duty-free, it's not, we don't get it from Duluth, it comes from all over the country, so it kind of gave us time to stock up a little bit and plan ahead. And we've already seen right away, people are coming down, stocking up. It's been a very busy weekend. We're happy to see it, and we hope it continues.
In what some see as an effort to assert pressure on striking workers, the province, as you heard, released an interactive map showing Ontarians where they can buy alcohol other than at the LCBO. CTV's Rahim Ladani picks up the story.
Temporary workers crossing the picket line are met with jeers and noise by those who are striking, standing in front of this LCBO service center in Mississauga.
We want to show people that it's our work and they're taking it from us.
Maureen Barlow has been a casual worker at the LCBO for 7 years. She says the government's plan to expand alcohol sales will cut $2.5 billion the LCBO contributes to the province annually, which she fears will impact services such as healthcare.
I had breast cancer 7 years ago, and at that time my OHIP card was the most valuable card in my wallet. People that think that getting convenient booze is better than actually having to pay for health care, they've never lived without it.
Even though LCBO workers are on strike.
In a video released by Ontario's Premier Monday, Doug Ford is boasting that there are 2,300 other places people can search to buy beer, wine, and spirits during the strike.
And remember, in just a few months, convenience stores and grocery stores across the province will be able to sell a whole range of drinks.
However, members of the Ontario Public Service Employees Union say the video demonstrates exactly why they need to strike.
It doesn't make us feel good. There's no doubt about that. I've been at the board for 2.5 years, and I don't have benefits. I work 40 hours a week.
The Ford government, though, is pushing back, saying they put forward a fair offer, which OPSEU rejected.
They wanted increased wages. They wanted to move casual workers to more full-time and more severance. And guess what? The LCBO offer on Thursday contained all of that.
As the first labor disruption in the organization's history continues on.
One of 4 people accused in a 2022 shooting death on Hodder Avenue has pleaded guilty to manslaughter. 22-year-old Jacob Green of Thunder Bay entered his plea in court today. He was initially charged with first-degree murder in June of 2022, 1 month after the shooting that killed 29-year-old Adrian Anthony Richardson. Green is scheduled to be back in court in September. The 3 other accused still face first-degree murder charges and will have preliminary hearings later this month.
Marathon OPP are investigating a serious single-vehicle collision involving an ATV. It happened this morning on Highway 627 and closed the highway in both directions for several hours. It was reopened late this afternoon. There's still no word about any injuries at this time.
Dryden OPP have laid a total of 35 charges against 2 people following a traffic stop last Wednesday on Highway 17. Police seized cocaine, methamphetamine, oxycodone, hydromorphone, and fentanyl, as well as a gun and cash. A 29-year-old from Toronto faces 20 charges related to drug trafficking and weapons offenses, as well as fleeing from police. A 29-year-old from Sioux Lookout faces 15 charges. The pair have been remanded into custody at the Kenora Jail and will appear in court tomorrow.
Thunder Bay Rainy River MP Marcus Pulowski wants to see a publicly owned bridge between Fort Frances and International Falls in the U.S. He's calling for the 2 countries to work together to replace or repair the existing bridge. The bridge is more than a century old. It's always been privately owned, but changed hands after the mill in Fort Frances closed. The new ownership group increased the toll, prompting calls from the community for the government to buy the bridge. Pulowski says he's not sure whether it would make more sense to purchase and repair the bridge or build a new one, but he firmly believes that it should be publicly owned.
So it's really unfair for people in Fort Frances area that they have to pay to go across the bridge whereas people in Thunder Bay or Rainy River don't have to pay across the bridge. We all pay the same tax money. It's not like they get a tax break in lieu of the fact that they have to pay for this bridge. So definitely the government ought to own the bridge.
Pawlowski recently met with the American ambassador to Canada, and the bridge was at the top of his agenda. He also proposed cross-border collaboration on a flood risk assessment for the Rainy River Basin and to address fishery regulations.
The federal government announced a big change to the Canadian Dental Care Plan today. It allows all dentists and hygienists to provide care under the plan without needing to sign up. Starting today, oral health providers can treat patients participating in the program on a claim-by-claim basis and bill Sun Life directly. Once a claim has been approved, providers will be reimbursed by Sun Life within 48 hours initially and 24 hours in the future. Thunder Bay Superior North MP Patty Haidu says this is good news for uninsured and middle-income people here in the Thunder Bay area.
The more dentists that offer the program, actually the better it is for Canadians, because Canadians, as you know, there are a number of people that don't have coverage either through their own personal benefits or public benefits, or for one reason or another don't have coverage under any plan, and it prevents people from accessing the dentist, which then prevents full oral health care.
We'll have more details on the dental announcement later on in the News Hour.
History buffs had a chance to step inside a piece of Canada's past over the weekend as a vintage Canso aircraft was on display at the Wasaya Airlines terminal.
It was all part of a 100th anniversary celebration for the Royal Canadian Air Forces, hosted by the Northwestern Ontario Aviation Heritage Centre. Jessica Clement brings us the story.
Visitors of all ages were lining up for the chance to step inside a vintage Canso aircraft, which was at the Wasaya Airlines terminal over the weekend. This event was hosted by the Northwestern Ontario Aviation Heritage Centre, but the plane has been flying across Canada as part of the Royal Canadian Air Force's 100th anniversary.
We're touring people through the airplane where they can see firsthand and feel the history. You just have to sit in the pilot seat and you can just feel the history of this aircraft. It's 81 years old.
Jim Allen, president of the Fairview Aircraft Restoration Society, says the plane has a long history. It was built in Victoriaville, Quebec in 1943 and was used for coastal patrols, convoy protection, and hunting German submarines during the Second World War. In 1978, the aircraft was converted into a water bomber and spent several decades fighting forest fires across Canada.
It was fighting fires up in the Northwest Territories, 200 miles north of the Arctic Circle. Had an accident picking up the water and damaged the hull and wing and so on. And so it sank in 100 feet of water on Lake Satigi.
Donald Wieben, aviation mechanic for the FARS, says he and a group of others in northern Alberta found out about the airplane and decided to restore it.
It was Canadian built and had a lot of Canadian history, and so we were able to buy the salvage and found a way of moving it across the tundra and getting it back into a place where we could work on it and repair it.
Along with getting a tour inside the aircraft, visitors were also able to learn more about it by asking questions to the members of the FARS and the plane's current captains.
All the stories, like everybody's connected to this plane in some way that comes out. And we really enjoyed that part of the whole experience.
It means a lot, and to have the people, especially bringing pictures of their parents or grandparents who had something to do with the aircraft. There's some kind of history there that won't stop, and to be a part of it keeps us going as well.
Sunday was the plane's last day on display. It leaves for Winnipeg on Monday. Jessica Clement, TBT News.
It's strawberry season, and that means people can head over to Baloos Farms to pick their own berries. It was a busy place over the weekend with those eager to get their hands on some fresh fruit. The recent cool, wet weather slowed the ripening process a bit this year, but with warmer temperatures expected, there's an estimated 3 to 4 more weeks of the farm strawberry season. Hundreds of people are able to come out daily to pick their own berries. However, a time slot has to be booked first on the Baloos website. Picking days are also weather dependent. This is the farm's 50th strawberry season. Farm partner Jody Baloos says the support of the community over the years has been incredible.
My in-laws, my husband's parents, started the farm in 1974 with Pick Your Own. Before that, it was a potato farm. Before that, it was a cattle farm. It's kind of made different evolutions over the years. But they started the whole Pick Your Own thing, as well as all the market vegetables. And it's like, you know, super incredible for my husband and I. We're the third generation on the farm now to be continuing the tradition. And we're super thankful because it's the community of Thunder Bay that has kept us going for all these years.
After strawberry season comes the Saskatoon berries and peas. Those seasons are expected to begin later this month.
Oh, we had some of those strawberries down in our newsroom, and yeah, they are absolutely delightful. Yes.
Yeah,
you should have made your way down there.
I should have been told. I'm feeling left out.
I saved you a few, don't worry.
Okay, all right. Well, let's get back to the weather. We had it all today, didn't we? We had sunshine, we had increasing clouds, and yes, in some parts of the city, we had rain. It was very localized rain because the south side of town, many neighborhoods stayed bone dry. Here on the north side, some of us were drowning when we were trying to get out of the parking lot and into this building this afternoon. So we really ticked all the boxes with an early morning low of 13, a high of 26, and a humidex that reached 31 this afternoon. Now, you can see the systems, just little bits popping up, but it is building a little bit in intensity. And if you look, that's where we're at right now. So there's still a chance that we could see some rain. Across the region, though, little bit popping up here and there throughout this afternoon. At this moment in time, Fort Frances is enjoying some sunshine, which they certainly earned. Yesterday was a very wet day in the fort. They're currently at 24, topped out at 26. Humidex making feel a couple degrees warmer. As you head further north, start out with sunshine in Red Lake and then increasing clouds throughout the afternoon. And then 2 hours ago, they had a thunderstorm. And then they had a few more thunderstorms, and it's just ended in the last half an hour or so. So they've got a few clouds at 23 and a humidex of 28. Very similar temperatures as you head eastward towards Sioux Lookout, Pickle Lake, even into Armstrong and Greenstone. The humidex is still in the high 20s under mostly cloudy skies. Little cooler in Marathon at 15, 19 in Wawa, and Sault Ste. Marie saw the humidex top out at 33 for about 3 hours this afternoon under mostly cloudy skies. At this time, they're sitting closer to about 29, but still very, very warm. Here in the city of Thunder Bay tonight, there is about a 60% chance that your backyard, but maybe not your neighbors, will see a shower or even a pop-up thunderstorm. That's how localized it can be. After that, it'll be clearing out and will stay quite mild at 15. And then for the rest of the week, we are drying out. We are seeing more sunshine and some very high temperatures. So if you're looking for real sweltering conditions, congratulations, they're here.
Yeah, well, we'll join a lot of other communities across the country right now who are sweltering for sure. All right, we are going to talk a little bit more about that a little later on in the show. But first, when we return, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is in Washington today on the eve of a NATO summit to mark the alliance's 75th anniversary. Of course, Trudeau is likely to face some tough questions about Canada's military spending. We'll have details on that and more right after the break.
Not meeting the target without having a plan in place and a date to meet the target shows that you're not taking the target as seriously